I'm gonna make sure I have some dew heaters on the RedCat tonight because it's definitely gonna get pretty frosty out here. Hi everybody, this is Trevor Jones from astrobackyard.com. In tonight's video, I'm just gonna get back to my roots and do some DSLR deep sky astrophotography. It is a cold, crispy, almost winter night, and I see a rather bright moon in the sky. I'm looking at it right now. It's about 65% illuminated. And then in the southwest, it's a really beautiful scene. It's the evening star, which is the planet Venus, shining very brightly in the colorful sunset sky there in the southwest. I believe, actually I do see Saturn right now. Saturn is much dimmer and just up a little bit from Venus. Just a really beautiful scene. It's nice to see those planets hang around for a little while the sun sets. After that though, we're gonna get down to business and shoot some deep sky DSLR astrophotography using my Canon 60DA astrophotography camera. And I'm thinking a really wide angle small lens like the RedCat for tonight. And then some narrowband filters to filter out that moonlight and the good old light pollution I'm used to here in the backyard at home. So I hope you join me for a night of astrophotography here in the backyard. Ashley's out Christmas shopping with her mom today. Holy smokes, Rudy, what are you doing? What a maniac. Believe it or not, this dog does go for lots of walks throughout the day. You wouldn't know it though with all the energy he's got. Jesus, buddy, what was in that dentist stick you had? Holy smokes, what are you doing? Oh. He just bonked me right in the nose. Rudy, that's enough. Hold on, I'm trying to talk to the camera. I think I'm gonna set up right here so I have a nice view of Orion when it comes up. It's only supposed to be clear from about 8 until midnight tonight. That's what the clear sky chart shows anyway. So we'll see how much clear sky time I get, but I wanna be set up here because then I get a nice clear view of Orion in case I choose to shoot something in that constellation. So this is where I'm setting up. It is almost Christmas time. It's December 7th today, so we've got the lights up and so does everyone else in town. And you know what that does? You can't help but think that that creates a little more light pollution. I'm not gonna be the old grump that complains that everyone's got Christmas lights on because we're a part of the problem too. So I'm thinking it's this rig here that's gonna go outside tonight, the little RedCat and my old beloved HEQ5. It's you know, I can carry the whole thing at once, which is nice. So because there's only 4 hours, I think this is a great rig to just set up and I can tear down quickly. Well, we're back into that time of year when any exposed skin just goes completely numb. Well, that moon certainly is bright. You can see a few clouds up there right now passing by. Let's see, hopefully by 8 o'clock things are looking better. I really like using the RedCat with a guide scope. Not just obviously for auto guiding for longer exposures, but just to get that dithering option really helps smooth out the noise. So it's still a really small portable setup, but it's nice to have a guide scope. You know, this time of year, the cold definitely makes things a little more challenging. But man, it's 5:45 p.m. right now. It's already dark out. So that's really nice. It's a little more, I feel like you live a little more normal of a life at these hours of doing this hobby as opposed to, you know, at the end of June. Sometimes you don't even get up and running until after midnight. Those are some really groggy mornings in the summer. I just did a manual polar alignment of the mount. Just used my app on my phone, looked through the polar finder on the HEQ5, bang on, ready to go. Just gonna get everything all connected here. I'm gonna make sure I have some dew heaters on the RedCat tonight because it's definitely gonna get pretty frosty out here. All right, I'm pretty well set up here and yeah, excited to shoot my target, which I still have not chosen. So let's see, I set up in the dark and I'm going in without a target already pre-selected and planned out. So I'm breaking all the rules tonight. I just wanted to just talk quickly about the situation at Meade, which is really horrible for you know, the people that work at the company. I'm not sure what's going on, if you've heard the news about Meade or not, but they're going through some troubles right now. And I know a few guys at the company that are really great people. So there was one guy on Instagram that was laughing at the situation. Like, it's just is disgusting behavior. These are real people and real families and real jobs at these companies. You know what, you might think of these big companies like Meade or Celestron, and that they're this, you know, faceless conglomeration, but there's a lot of real people, working class people at these companies that are really passionate about astronomy and what they do, and are in it for the same reasons that you and I are. So I was just a little bit shaken up with the news about Meade and some of the comments I was seeing online. Anyways, all the best to those guys, and I hope you get things figured out. I'll just show you what I'm working with here. A very relatively simple setup with the little 51mm RedCat, which is an exceptionally small telescope, but very capable. And then a 50mm guide scope, 1mm smaller in aperture for the guide scope riding on top, the ASI 290mm mini guide camera, which I'll be running through the laptop in Astrophotography tool and PhD2 guiding. And then you can see my DSLR attached at the back there, the Canon 60DA. And I just realized I don't have my filter in there yet. So I'm actually gonna have to remove the DSLR and get that filter threaded into the adapter here on the back of the RedCat. I knew I forgot something. So I've got the L-Enhance filter threaded into the adapter for the RedCat, the tilt plane adapter, which I haven't really messed with a lot. I haven't really had any tilt issues with my sensor, but it's nice to have that option. And yeah, this L-Enhance filter, my goodness, have I got a lot of use out of this filter in 2019. When I first talked about it in the summer, there was a lot of people saying, oh, I don't know about this filter, it lets in too much light pollution, and I don't know what they were smoking, but I've seen some incredible results with the L-Enhance this year. Not just from me, from other people. Okay, I've got everything connected, memory card in the camera, ready to go. I'm just gonna do a quick star alignment. If my polar alignment was good, I should be able to get away with a 1-star alignment. I'll probably use, Capella is right there and it's nice and bright, and I'm thinking I'm gonna shoot something in that direction over by Cassiopeia. So I'm gonna do a 1-star alignment on using Capella on the HEQ5. And I'll just do that, and I'll turn the live view on the camera, and I'll find the star. I'll see it in the display screen here, and then I can focus on that star as well using the built-in batten-off mask in the RedCat, and then I'll be good to slew right to my target, which, I don't know, Soul Nebula, Heart Nebula, something I've shot a million times. If you hear me go on and on about how it's great to start with a wide field refractor telescope as your first astrophotography telescope, finding targets and framing them up in the night sky early on can be really challenging and frustrating. So this is just a great example here with just a rough, well, it was an accurate polar alignment, but a manual polar alignment on this old HEQ5. First alignment star, I can see it in the field there. It is, this doesn't have a touch screen. It's right there. So I'm just gonna center this star in the field, and then I'll be done. It's a 1-star alignment, no plate solving, no nothing computer controlled, all through the hand controller. I like to change the rate to 7 when I'm doing this, so it really zips along, and you can probably hear it. I'm just going to center that star. I believe if you hit the OK button, yeah, it centers the box, so I can just center the star right in the box. It's a very bright star, so that makes it a lot easier. I'm at ISO 3200 in bulb mode. There we go. Now if we zoom in on it, if I can find it, there we go. So there's the star there. And if I focus in and out, you'll see it get very bloated and back to normal. And I bet I could get pretty close to a great focus doing it this way. Definitely done that in the past, and that's usually what I do with a camera lens, but because we have the batten-off mask, we'll throw that on. Okay, so I've got the batten-off mask on there now, and you can see it go in and out, see that pattern. There's the star pattern you're looking for, that central spike right in the middle. Perfect. Now I'll remember to take the mask off, and I'll slew to my target.